And I'm G.
Welcome to
Fege. We always mess that up.
Always.
Hi, you guys. And if this is your first time coming to our channel, welcome to Fege.
Welcome.
And if this is your second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever time come back, welcome back. We love to see you. So today we're going to be talking about
sex.
Jesus.
Yes. Well, sex and how it pertains to relationships. I've always felt like sex was like a really big thing in relationships. So we want to see what each of us think about how much sex we should be having or should not be having in relationships. So,
and also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and ding that little bell so you can know when we post
all of that
videos.
YouTube jargon.
Yes. All right, moving on.
All right, so how much sex should you be having in a relationship? What do you think?
So, sex is one of those tricky things because some of us have, these really high libidos, and some of us have these mediocre ones, and some of us don't have libido at all. So it can be tricky, especially when you're in a relationship and you've been together for a really long time. Me and Fee, we've been together almost 5 years now. We've been together almost 5 years. Our sex life is still great. That's as much as I'll share about that. But I think, in my opinion, sex is always an added benefit to the relationship. I don't think the whole relationship should be centered around the amount of sex you're having or not having. So to me, a healthy amount of sex is maybe, I can't even put a number on it, to be honest with you.
Okay, so let's go back to where you said you don't feel like the relationship be centered around sex. What if one partner feels like sex weighs heavily in the relationship? So do you feel like those terms still apply there, or do you feel like things need to be tailored so each individual have their needs met in the relationship?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think because a part of being in a relationship is, what do I always tell you? Compromising, making sure that everybody's needs and wants are met. So if your partner relies heavily on sex, you got to try to meet them halfway, but your partner has to also meet you halfway. So say if they have a high libido, you have a low libido, you guys have to find that middle ground where it's like, okay, I really like to cuddle, and that's a part of my love language, and that's how I feel loved. So you need to make sure you're cuddling your partner as much as, vice
you're
versa.
Sexing your partner.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
And I think that's basically what my answer is. A healthy amount of sex in a relationship is based on your other half.
Yeah. There is no wrong or right answer because every relationship is going to be different. Because some people might not even like having sex that often. They're like, all right, I can have sex once a month and hell, that's fine with me. But then there are other people like, no, I need sex 3 times a week. Then they need sex 3 times a week. So, okay, let's say for instance, hypothetically, I need sex 4 times a week, and you're like, nah, I only need sex twice a month. Where is the middle ground there? Because I feel like sex is one of those tricky things, and I don't feel like sex makes people cheat, but I feel like the lack of intimacy in relationships, because intimacy is different. I feel like there's more than one way of intimacy. There's cuddling, there's spending time with each other, communication, there's sex. But like I said, if one of the people in the relationship, they say sex is it for me, what would you do if I needed sex 4 times a week and you only needed sex twice a month?
Okay.
Then what?
So that's a tricky question for me.
Because I feel like it's okay for your partner to decline sex or your advances towards sex, if they're not in the mood. I feel like everybody has the right to say, I'm not in the mood tonight. Now, when you're not in the mood tonight becomes very frequent, we have a fucking problem.
That's true. That's true. But to answer your question, I think in those instances where, we're on 2 opposite spectrums of the libido world, I think that a healthy amount of self-pleasure comes into play.
Oh, that is that. Whoa, wait a minute. minute. No,
I do.
not from Geneva. What?
I do.
How
I
though?
think a healthy amount.
Okay, so what's a healthy amount? Because self-pleasure, you don't like the idea of self-pleasure. And we'll just throw that out there. Like, I am not allowed, okay? I'm not allowed to self-pleasure in any type of way, right? Because she feels like, tell them why.
Don't say that. Okay, well, I'm not saying she can't ever do it. It's just, I think when you self-pleasure too often, this is why I said a healthy amount of it. When you self-pleasure too often, it kills your drive. And when your partner wants to have sex with you, you're not in the mood. And it just throws your circadian rhythm or whatever rhythm. I don't think it's circadian. But anyway, I think that's your sleep rhythm.
Yeah.
Forget I said that. It throws your sex rhythm off.
Okay.
So that's why I said a healthy amount.
Okay, so if I need sex 4 times a week, what's a healthy amount of self-pleasure in that instance?
I think, okay, so back to your example. Yeah. The partner needs it 2 times a month, and that's not how I am at all. I'm just letting you guys know. But if your partner only wants it twice a month and you want it 4 times a week, I think you should be allowed to at least self-pleasure once a week. And that kind of offsets that, like, you know, or once every other week that, like, oh, she's not in the mood, but I want to. And also, self-pleasure is really healthy for you, I think. But like I said, a healthy amount, because you don't want to just throw your sex life with your partner into a
So do you, okay, when you say healthy, though, because I almost feel like you think that self-pleasure, like you said, takes away from your inclination to want to have sex with your partner. Like, why do you feel that it takes away from that? Like, if I'm masturbating and I'm not in the mood to have sex when you want to have sex, but maybe like 2 days later I am, like, does it really matter? Or do you feel like it's almost like a cheating type situation where, like, if you want it and I say no because I've already had self-pleasure, then you're like, well, I mean, is it?
Well, I do feel betrayed if she masturbates and doesn't talk to me about it either afterwards or whatever the case is. Because, I mean, in our relationship, most times, if one of us masturbates, the other person doesn't want to have sex when the other one does. So that's what I feel like it's about. It's not necessarily that you're cheating.
But isn't it?
But it's kind of betrayal. If you don't talk to me about it, yeah, it's a betrayal.
But okay, so do you feel like the communication needs to be open enough to where I feel comfortable and say, hey, babe, like, I masturbated this morning? Like, do you feel like that has to be said? Like, what if I don't want to say that? Like, what if I don't want to be like, hey, I had some fun this morning? Like, then what happens? Like, but do you feel like you should be in a space with your partner that...
Okay, where the real betrayal comes in is when I'm, you know, making my move on you and you're like, oh, I don't feel like having sex. And then it's like, why don't you feel like having sex with me? Well, because I masturbated this morning. And, you know, and then it's like, oh.
But you said it's healthy to do.
It's healthy in moderation. And if your partner only wants to have sex 2 times a month, it's healthy.
Okay, but then you go back to... it's okay to decline advances as well. So
it is.
Is it okay to decline advances even if there has been self-pleasure involved? Like, where is the, what do you say? How do you say it? Like, where do you draw the line? Like, when is it okay? Like, there's so many factors when it comes to sex and how it plays in relationships. So it's okay to decline it.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But you feel betrayed if I decline it
after you masturbate.
Okay, so there's like rules to it.
Yeah.
Okay, but if it's just me not in the mood.
And these are the rules for our personal relationship. Like, you know, everybody has to come up with what works for them. But for me, you know, you need to tell me when you masturbate, because I may want to have sex the next morning and you don't, and then I'm going to feel betrayed if you didn't tell me that that's what happened. And then maybe, you know, I'll go masturbate myself and then, you know, we're good to go. So.
All right, y'all. So let us know what you guys think. Do you feel like, what is a healthy amount of sex in a relationship? And what are some of the rules or stipulations that you feel like need to be in place with your partner when it involves sex and self-pleasure? Let us know.
And we'll see you next time on Fege, okay?
All right. Talk to y'all soon.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
The YouTube jargon.
Yes.
All of that.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. See you next time.